Welcome to the course. I'm Gary Clarke and this is my second full PHP course. This course is really primarily a learning exercise. It's for those who are eager to take their skills to a new level. Creating an e-commerce website is a secondary goal. That's just something to work towards while we're actually developing the skills that I want to teach in this. The level starts at intermediate and it's designed to follow on from my first course, Complete Object-Oriented PHP Developer. And so if you consider yourself an intermediate level PHP developer, then by all means dive in. If you don't, then maybe try the Complete Object-Oriented PHP Developer course first. There's a link for that below. If you're not sure what level you're at or if this course is at the right level for you, then maybe just work through the first few videos. Are you comfortable with the level? If you are, if you understand everything and you can follow along with the code, then keep going. If not, again, the link to the Complete Object-Oriented PHP Developer course is down in the discussion below. And so because it is a learning exercise, here's a list of some of the things that I'm going to cover. These are all intermediate PHP topics, by the way. So we're looking at object-oriented programming principles and best practices, object-oriented session handling, DoctrineORM, which is a tool for recording information in the database, reading information from the database. ORM stands for Object Relational Mapper, so we're mapping PHP objects to tables in the database. Basic authentication, when I say basic, I mean things like login, session authentication, user entities using DoctrineORM, and we'll maybe cover remember me tokens, things like that. What I want to avoid is registration and password resets, because those topics are very lengthy. They can run into hours on their own, and also it's not something I really want to get into teaching. I want to keep this fun, so I'm going to try and avoid those two things. PHP unit testing and test-driven development. Okay, if you don't like testing, this probably isn't the course for you, because I'm a test-driven development practitioner and we'll be writing tests for probably most of the stuff that we work on this. I think that's the best way to create software. Magic methods. So in the first course we touched on some of the basic magic methods such as string, get, set, etc. In this one we'll look at some of the more advanced ones, and that should be pretty cool. Standard PHP library, SPL for short. So if you don't know the standard PHP library, it's a library written in PHP obviously, and it contains like a load of handy classes and methods and things for things like iteration, looping over CSV files, XML, and a load of other stuff. It's very handy, and I believe it's underused. People should use it more. Pagination and paginating records. So if you think of an e-commerce site, if you think of something like Amazon, you may search for, I don't know, some kind of book, and there could be like 100 records. It's not going to show 100 on one page. It'll show so many, and then you go to the bottom of the page and you click the next button. It'll take you to the next page. That's pagination. Git and GitHub. In fact, I'm getting ahead of myself. Reflection. So reflection is a thing in PHP where it's a good way of analyzing classes, analyzing class properties and methods. And this has a load of handy uses which you can hook into your code and use reflection in your code. Design patterns. Okay, so we're going to try and incorporate a few design patterns into our application. And so before we actually incorporate them in, I'm going to teach them properly and in full. Git and GitHub. So you may already be familiar with Git and you may already be familiar with GitHub, but I'm going to teach you anyway. I'm going to show you some basic Git commands. I only use a few, to be honest, and I'm going to teach you all of those, show you how to add stuff to a repo, how to commit stuff, how to push to a repository on GitHub, how to pull. And another thing which I thought might be pretty cool is I'm going to teach you how to contribute to open source projects, because if you're new, if you're learning, I'm going to presume that you may not have done this, or you may only have done a little bit of this. Contributing to open source projects is a good way to gain experience as a developer, and it's something good to have which can help you land your first gig. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to do that here. I'll show you how to create pull requests, how to have your code reviewed, how to review the code of others, and you'll have that opportunity to do that here. So You might even be able to have your code feature in this project, which would be pretty cool. I'd like that. I'm sure you probably like that, and it would definitely, if you've not worked as a professional developer yet, that is definitely something which you could take to your first gig or your first interview to become a developer. And then we'll cover accepting payments with third-party payment services such as Stripe. This is e-commerce. Obviously, in order to buy something on an e-commerce site, you need to handle payments. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. So that's everything which I will definitely cover. Okay, here are some of the things which I might cover. Dependency injection containers are quite advanced. However, people ask me about them quite a lot. So if I feel we've got time and I feel it will add to this project and it's not going to be at a level that's too high for you, then we'll have a look at dependency injection containers. Generators, routing, MVC as in model view controller, which is a popular modern pattern which is used in things like Laravel and Symfony, closures, and also I'm open to suggestions. So if there's anything on that list of things I might cover or anything on the list of things I am covering which you think I could also incorporate something else into that, please let me know. I listen to all suggestions. So either if you're a member of my mailing list, just ping me an email, or just add a comment down in the discussion below this video. That would be pretty good. Okay, the origins of this course. So like I said, this is intended to be a follow-up to my complete object-oriented PHP developer course. Obviously, I'm teaching this in a different way than I did in that one. In this one, I've got the camera switched on and I'm talking through things probably more deliberately, in more depth than what I did in that one. And I actually prefer this more natural way of teaching than what I did in that. Recording that one, there was a lot of editing involved. This is going to be a lot more looser, a lot more conversational. And so it picks up at roughly the same level as what that one ended. And in that one, what we did was we did some learning and then would learn a topic and then we'll work on a small project. In this one, obviously, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do some learning, except what we've learned, we're going to contribute to our one big e-commerce application. And I think that's good for both of us because it means I don't have to keep coming up with new projects all the time. And also, having listened to your feedback and seen what kind of viewing figures I get for bigger projects and what other people get for bigger projects over small projects, I think that is definitely the way to go. And so I considered a couple of options. One was software as a service and the other one was e-commerce. I'll level with you, my first choice was to do software as a service, as it was for many of you. However, having looked at the topics I want to cover, that I want to teach, having looked at the search figures, having looked at the viewing figures for the two different things, e-commerce has a much bigger audience. And if you pour hours of your life into something, you at least want someone to see it. So I made the decision to go with e-commerce, but really it could have been anything, could have been either of the two, it could have been something else, because the whole point of this course isn't to produce an e-commerce application or to produce a software as a service application. It's to teach you the topics which I've mentioned to get you to a level where you can confidently create your own applications. Most of all, I'm going to teach you how to create your own robust quality software. I'm going to encourage you to be more than just average, and I'm going to give you the tools to go out there and totally crush it while your contemporaries are enrolling in their 30th Udemy course that they never complete. You'll actually be writing your own programs. The learning will be incremental, there'll be no revision, no need to try and memorize anything. The responsibility for you remembering this stuff, for you learning this stuff, that lies with me. All you need to do is complete all the lessons, complete any exercises that I set you. There are no rules apart from these two, and they are, if you get stuck, ask. Okay, that doesn't mean ask straight away without trying to solve the problem yourself, but if you're really stuck, ask. The only stupid questions are the ones which don't get asked. The second rule is, if you see someone's asked a question and you know the answer to that question, then answer it. Sounds simple, but you'd be amazed how many people just scroll on by when they actually know the answer to something. Teamwork is what sets good developers apart from average developers. And that's really it. So let's go.